Hey there folks, Joe DeAngelis here with another episode of Silent Film Saturday. This is episode number 82. And last week I discussed Eisenstein's Strike. Today I discuss Battleship Potemkin, one of the most influential films of all time, in addition to being one of the most well-known silent films. Really a film every silent film fan or film enthusiast should check out at least twice. This is actually my second viewing of the film. This is the Blu-ray edition provided by Kino. It includes the original score for the film, which is a magnificent score, 55-piece orchestra provided for this one. It also has the restored print with the English intertitles, as well as the print with the Russian intertitles with English subtitles. So if you like the original intertitles, you can do that, or if you're like myself, where I prefer to have the English intertitles, and you can do that as well. There's also a documentary on the film, about 42 minutes long, and some notes on the film provided by Bruce Bennett. Just double check that. 1 second. Yes, Bruce Bennett, and some photo galleries on this disc. This is the cover. Boom. About 70-minute movie. This is not a film I would watch on just to chill out or on a regular basis, like I said with Strike, but I think I like this better than Strike. I like the score a lot. I like the story where you have this ship and these Russians on the ship revolt against their commanders, and then as they're approaching, you have revolts on the mainland, which culminates in the infamous, or really famous, Odessa Steps sequence. Now, this is the scene you really want to talk about, but first I'll talk about the other things I liked in the movie. You know, a lot of it, the characters that you like are clearly more likable than the bad guys, i.e. they look more likable in their appearance. Such as the characters that, the soldiers, you never really see their face as they're shooting the people in the Odessa Steps, which obviously makes you kind of like them less, this faceless evil. You know, and the heroes, or the victims of this, you see their faces, and it's really gritty when they get shot. There's blood, and injury, and death, and it just never seems to end. And then of course, when you're on the actual battleship, you have the regular low-level soldiers who are just, who just want to have a good meal, and then the commanders are just like, you'll be fine. That's nothing to worry about. And there's like these the maggots. You see the maggots in explicit detail on the meat. It's just really grisly to the eyes. But back to the Odessa Steps sequence is really the main thing to talk about with this movie. Basically, the whole concept of the scene is that you have the Odessa staircase, which this particular revolt never happened, although there were several revolts that occurred after the Battleship Potemkin. But on the Odessa Steps, it feels like this endless barrage of soldiers coming down and shooting the victims, and it just never seems to end. Even though you can clearly see in some shots where the steps begin and where they end, just the way it's cut and the way the emotions play with you, it just doesn't stop. And you don't care in your mind because these people are, they're suffering, clearly. And like I said earlier, you see their death and demise in explicit detail. You have the baby being pushed down the stairs in the carriage, the mother shot in the stomach, another woman shot in the eye, which is a very famous shot. It's on the package right here. Right there on this Blu-ray. And it's just well cut, and cuts back to soldiers, rounding up the people at the base of the stairs, and the soldiers continuously descending the Odessa Steps in this barrage, essentially, this massacre. And things like this did happen, but like I said, particularly not on the Odessa Steps, but it was there, obviously, to dramatize a point made by Mr. Eisenstein. You gotta check this one out. It's not my favorite silent film, like I've said, but it's important. You gotta see it. It's really influential. You could probably name a couple of movies that have taken influences from that particular Odessa step sequence alone. And that's all I really have to say about this movie. I really would like to revisit it in the future, but not anytime soon. Although I do like the film. Next time, I'm reviewing one of my personal favorite silent films, F.W. Murnau's The Last Laugh. See you next week.